Yeah, we're back again. This is not going to be a garden tour video because I just finished recording the video where I showed you my pathways. What I'm going to do is just show you the high points of the garden, the exciting points. So hang tight and here we go. I have so much mint growing, eh? A whole pile of it. And then I come over on this side. And that's the Italian oregano. And of course I got Greek oregano, but 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Clematis is a beautiful vine. It's growing here. It doesn't take over. It grows up like that. It's just a regular vine that intertwines in around. So what I've got done there is 2 that used to be those pillars that they had over verandas. So they're about 6-7 feet or something. If I were to plant that one of these now, I would plant some kind of a trellis out and obelisk, or you can do a square one, whatever, and plant it beside it. So you put down, like, say 2 poles that are, say, 8-10 feet tall, and stretch chicken wire between it and let them grow up. That, and then you'd have this mass of green leaves and these beautiful big flowers on all sides of it. This was the first rose to leave out. First rose to flower, I mean. Let's see if we can get a good close-up of one of the flowers. This new phone, it's got a really good camera on it. See, I can come in real close. I can give you a really good close-up. And I'm just waiting. That's why it's not completely mowed around. You see, there's a couple of canes here that has fallen out, so they'll be cut out. And there's a couple more old canes. So I'm waiting now for the petals to all fall, and then do some pruning of this rose bush. The Brandywine tomatoes are the last to have flowers, but the flower buds are coming. You can see the little buds just starting there. Oh, shadow in the way. Bush beefsteak is at about the same. You can see this one now. He has a flower right there that has been finished. So that's a bush beefsteak. Latta, he's flowering out nicely. And the first couple of fruits, one there and one down there. There's another one in there. There's another fruit right there. Oh no, this is Beaver Lodge Slicer. That one in there and this one. See? Another fruit in there. And so far, here's the biggest fruit. So Beaver Lodge Slicer has several fruit on it already. And here it is July the 7th. So this is going to be a nice year for tomatoes. Just to point out, this tree is getting healthier every year. And okay, so this was little worms, not the beetles as before, but I think they're probably all gone now. And this year, they didn't completely decimate it. You got a lot of leaves there that are all just gone like Swiss cheese, but remember in previous years, just everything was just stripped right bare and it grew back leaves, but they didn't even get. See, I mean, this leaf has just got a few holes in them. So every year, this snowball bush is getting healthier. Who have we got going along here? Does Berkeley tie-dye have any flower buds on it yet? You see in right there, there's a first flower bud coming on the Berkeley tie-dye. So actually, they're the latest, not the Beaver Lodge Slicer. And this is Mortgage Lifter, which has a fruit. What's the name of these guys? Early Siberian. And they have some fruits as well. And that's all I know. Here's the one that it broke down and I put in sideways. And he's flowering. And then that's the unknown one back there. This plant is Liatris. And I think it's up in August or maybe late July that it flowers, but the flower buds are coming along nicely. And on the outside of the fence, echinacea. The so-called climbing rose, I have to get at this and tie him back to the fence, but he was the last to put out its roses, and doing quite well. Straight 8 cucumber, this plant is doing well, and you see, got a flower open down there. This is Greek oregano there. I think I'm going to put in some sticks and tie up the onion plant here. This one is not doing as well, but maybe it's because it's planted in behind the echinacea there, and it's not getting as much sun. It's just right in the shade until 12 o'clock or something. This is the service berries. This is the one that's out on the outside of the maple tree. But the other one that was really badly infected, remember, service berries every year got infected with that rust fungus. And they don't seem to be, there are some infection, but it doesn't seem to be as bad this year. So I'm hoping to get a harvest this year. This grapevine is falling off the fence so much because last year when I went to tie them back, it wasn't really quite big enough for me to tie it back, as opposed to this one over here. It's pretty much still up against the fence, you see. I think there's a couple of little bits like I've got to see about repositioning some of it, but they're growing wonderful, beautiful, and I don't know how big the grapes are going to grow, but there's quite a few little bunches around there. As far as Romeo cherry goes, it did put on quite a few cherries, but they don't seem to be growing, so I'm thinking that I'm not going to get any cherries off that this year either. Oh well, maybe next year. The smoke bush. I don't know, it might look like smoky after a while. Look at the number of blossoms it's on it this year. All over. There's practically nothing left of the strawberries up above, but down here I've gotten, say, 3 handfuls of strawberries so far, and I just ate them. Not enough to keep to make anything of. This rose bush is finished, but give you a little close-up of one of the roses that's left. You remember I showed you those little tiny seedlings that I said was chamomile. Well, I come back a few days later and I couldn't find one. Now, I did see a robin running around this bed, and I'm wondering if it pulled them all up. Now, they didn't seem to bother the California poppy. They're still coming up all over the bed and coming along quite nicely. I did, however, find a couple pieces of chamomile I'm talking about. Right now, I'm not laying eyes on them, so I'm not going to just stand there and search. But I think there are some seeds there that could still possibly germinate. And Robin was just down getting a drink. So they're coming along real nice here, aren't they? Growing just beautifully. I got it all mulched, as you can see. It droops easier than the cucumbers do. And so right now I don't know if that's from a lack of water or the heat. Because I mean it's 28, 29 degrees something here and sunny, right? I wonder if the shiny reflections on that inflorescence shows up. This is the evergreen onion underneath one of the Myrobalan cherry plum trees. You see, as I said when I was walking about, I got this Greek oregano here, and there was anyway, something else in here. I guess I'm not going to find out what it is until I start. Oh, here it is. So it's another Greek oregano. Probably still the slowest growing of the trees down around here, but it put on quite a bit. So that's the red mulberry, growing just wonderfully. And getting lots of sun. I think this year that spice bush is doing much better than it done in previous years. Check the parsnip plant, eh? Man, that's huge. And surprisingly, in previous years when I grew these plants, there was a caterpillar that would get on and pull the flowers right together and make a nest in the inflorescence. But not this year, apparently. Oh yeah, so talking about excitement, this is cause for excitement. Look what we have right there. I shall put my finger in there. That is a regular cherry. So I've got a new cherry tree. That's the only cherries on it this year, but that's the way it starts, right? The big one, I got like 2 or 3 cherries off it the first year, and then I got a handful the second year, and a dozen the third year. This one over here, the leaves are lighter overall, but what I just noticed is that these leaves, the brand new leaves here, that's on the bigger one, is about the same color. So it's just a matter of this one is younger and its leaves are darken up as they get older. I'm not going to have the amaranth grow in the beds because, I mean, I'm not complaining, but last year I let them grow up, remember, and there's a million little amaranth quote weeds I got to take out. And outside of the amaranth, outside of the garden beds, I can find amaranth in a lot of places. I've got that hose there because I come along and these male seaberry were drooping, and so I had to water them, and they're all perked up now. And what I've decided to do with here, remember that we used to be compost area, so it's nice and fertile, is work my way back. I gotta clean out among the asparagus here and turn this area right all there here into an asparagus and strawberry area. So you see all those spikes spiking up there, those big ones? That's dock. We have 3 different species of dock, but I'll mention that in just a minute. So look at how huge things are growing. Now I'm going to have to trim back that St. John's wort, or should I? I got to do some research because, or am I supposed to wait until after it flowers? Because it's the flowers you collect from St. John's wort, right? Do I have to wait until after it flowers to trim it, or can I trim it any time? Speaking of time, that's green lemon time. That's out in flowers. The bees and I love that. They're not around right now, but maybe they're hiding from the heat. And the sage is growing nicely there. Lavender, I usually wait for that to finish flowering and then cut it back. I seriously have to trim all out around. Like I can leave the center, right? But all this out around leaves, I got to cut that off and dry it. And you just keep it under control the entire growing season. And then when the frost is coming on, just chop and drop that. Or actually what I'll probably do, see, because these big stalks like this, I'll chop them off at ground level and then run them down through the wood chipper. You see what I mean about the lavender getting big, eh? But I'll wait till they finish flowering and then I'll cut them right back. They have a little different flower too, eh? This is the Goldilocks buttercup that I was talking about. They're not difficult to get out. It's not like the creeping buttercup at all. And would you look here? Something took every one of those coriander that I planted there. I wonder what likes coriander. Anybody know? Winter savory growing like crazy. I cut that back too. Potatoes are doing wonderfully. But, once again, another thing to point out, right? I can do this because I experiment with things. But see? It's the same variety in that, so. But I go in here. You see how wonderfully these are doing? Right in the deep shade. But, remember, I put the bedding from the hen house here and back over there. And they're doing good right in underneath as well. But this bed is exceptionally noticeable that when you get to the chicken manure, it just explodes. So that's the thing. Potatoes will grow in full shade, but you need fertile soil. See how wonderfully this is tiger's eye beans are doing? That's exciting. The lettuce is growing. I'm going to start some more and plant around here in these 2 beds, I think. I'll get my direction right here at once. So I think I'll take this down now. I just let it grow up to see what it was like. That's the stock seed bed for the rhubarb. Now back to dock. I mean, look at this bed. I got basically a bed full of dock. Now, the biggest benefit, well, I don't know if it's the biggest benefit, the leaves are edible too, eh? And you get up to the seed. Now, the write-up talks about separating the seed from the husk, but the seeds are so tiny and they got this big husk on them. I figured it wasn't even worth doing, but the shuck is edible. you use it as a replacement for all bran, the wheat bran stuff that you can buy in the store. And as you can see, it wouldn't take very many plants to get yourself a lot of all bran. And then you can mix it with whatever baking stuff that you want to add flour in. You might be able to make a porridge out of it. I don't know. I should try. Anyway, I'm going to harvest it and make a bunch of all bran flour and then see what I can do with it. In this bed, now that one with the yellow flowers, I think is a turnip that I missed. I don't have things growing very well in here. Those yellow ones, those white ones I mean, that's arugula. It didn't grow very much at all, and we got those hot days and it bolted. The only thing that's coming along decently is the kale down there and that lemon balm. The autumn butternut plants don't seem to be doing that well, but now it was just a couple of days ago that I put the mulch around them, so they may get better. Check out the bed of cole crops though, eh? So I'm going to deal with that now right in the next video, but for now we'll just say check out the cole crops. Check the Market More cucumber plants. They're growing gangbusters. Light color on the leaves though. And it seems a bit darker up here, I don't know why, but they're really growing well. So in the dill, you can almost watch that grow now. More potato weed, of course. And then the jarhead pumpkin, I think I was worried about them, but see, they seem to be coming back nicely and they're going to grow now. That's the 4 beds I just redone. I've been keeping it wet, and I'm going to, after I'm done this video, I'll re-moisten the surface. Actually, these 2 beds out front here don't dry off as much because they have more organic matter than the ones where the strawberry plants are. But I come out, and if the surface looks completely dry, then I give them a half watering. That's 4 passes. They're doing nice. I've got them less mulch because I had a few spaces in here. This is the black turtle beans, and if my memory serves me correctly, the plants start out a little slower than the other 2 types of beans anyway. And this onion bed I've got a little over half mulched. Now there's nothing showing, and especially the carrots, I wouldn't expect them to be showing yet anyway. I've got to harvest the garlic scapes. I mean, look, this one's pretty much gone too far. You wait for it to get this second curl, right? It's going around the second curl, so it's okay. But I wait for it to start to go around its second curl, and then I harvest them, and they're almost all doing that now. We got a couple of onions there. A lot looks like they're enlarging, so that's nice. The turnip, that's turnip purple top white globe. It's coming along okay. The beet seed that I planted there never did do very well. But you see, once again, Jacob's Caddo is a similar bean to Tiger's Eye, and the plants are bigger. And back to the other 2 sets of potatoes. Grapes don't need as much attention as they quack them up to be. Not only that, I've got grapes that are inside, right in the shade, and they get perfectly ripe. I mean, we're talking Newfoundland. It's not like we've got an overly long growing season, perfect conditions for them. But these two grapevines, I'm busy doing other things, and I just can't take the time to actually put them up all nice and pretty, like they do in the vineyards or people in their nice, beautiful Pinterest-worthy gardens. And so you got this massive grapevines that there's going to be a lot of grapes in among that. And we got something exciting down here. As I was saying in the pathway video, I gotta decide how I'm going to deal with this, because this is becoming a mess and an eyesore. The first one is here. Now that's not a common maple, but I don't think it's a regular maple either. Picture this says it's a sugar maple. I guess I got a sugar maple. I don't know where the seed come from. What are they? Are they spice bush? I can't remember now. See, I gotta check every time. Yeah. So I've got, they're starting to grow out nicely. 3 really nice spice bush and 1 really nice black locust. I got another seed there that came up the same. Now, I don't think it's sugar maple, because what would be the chances, even if somebody did have a sugar maple, that I would get 2 seeds to fall in here close to my house and sprout? So I'm thinking it's maybe the red maple. So remember, I came out here and I showed you that this one in the foreground, that's a elderberry, and the one up closer to the cliff with the darker leaves is mountain ash. And I was standing here yesterday, there's another elderberry right there beside the pole. So I have 2 elderberry plants, and especially the one beside the pole is not surprising, because the birds go up and they pitch on the wire and they poop the seeds down, right? But I would say that that's how that other seed got there as well. Now, another thing I'm wondering, and I don't know if anybody else knows, what's this plant? It has a lemony smell to it. It's not lemon balm. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm going to have to wait till it flowers and key it out. But if you know what it is, you can let me know. As we add a lot of blossoms on this tree, this is the apple tree on the cliff, we're going to have a lot of apples. And I don't know, for the most part, there's not really big bunches. But I just let nature do its thing. Where there are big bunches, you see, like that over there. This tree will shed those smaller apples now. It won't continue to grow those. It'll shed those, and it'll be quite a lot less apples, but still there's going to be a lot of apples on this tree. Then as for the height of red, there is signs of fungus, so hopefully that doesn't get too bad, and we'll get a lot of apples. But I think I've seen that tree with more apples on than what it is now. I think that's all the excitement I've got for you. I'm going to walk back through here now. I've got to watch my step. The excitement for July the 8th actually is what it is. And I hope you found that exciting as we do when there's gardening success in whoever's garden it is. Hope you enjoyed the video and follow along. Just decided to check and see if that mulberry grew afterwards, but it didn't. Yeah, you follow along and subscribe and hit the bell if you really want to know. There's more of those flowers right there. So, I don't know, it's just something that has attracted my attention this year, so I've got to figure out what it is. Yeah, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video.